I'm pretty sure everything's been said.
Welcome back. It's your girl, Kaye.
It's your girl, Consuela.
Thank y'all for pulling up on us.
Yeah.
We got another guest today. Kaye. Not K-E like me, but Kaye.
K with an E.
Kaye with it. Don't be getting smart with me. We just getting started.
That's a thing. People always say that.
Okay. Kaye with an E. Okay.
Get it right.
The hottest realtor in the city.
You think so?
I would say so.
I'm going to have like extra haters now just because of this.
Well, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing nothing.
Let's do it.
Before we started the podcast, she was like, let's get our Jesus pieces together.
What?
I got the hands. She got the cross. She ain't got nothing. And it made me think. I was with some people this weekend. I had like a speaking engagement or whatever. And he was like, this girl said something to him about Jesus, like Jesus will, right? And it made me think about the Jesus piece. I got to share it. Said Jesus will. And he was like, that was a sign of like Jesus' strength that he cried in front of his people. And she was like, Jesus really lame as hell for crying.
Was this a child?
No, it was an adult who told him that.
Speaking engagement was at school.
It was an adult who told him that. And it was like somebody he was called him lame. It was somebody he was intimately dealing with. And he was like,
next.
He was like,
bus.
what? Girl, I slap your ass talking about my Jesus.
Well, we don't. Here at the podcast, we do not support domestic violence.
We don't. But that is so funny to me because my chain was not right. My chain wasn't right.
For crying. It's really sad because, do you mind if I ask, were they cousins of ours?
Yes.
Were they of our complexion?
Yes.
You know, men, it's
yours
okay to
in particular.
Cry. Well, yikes. That's a whole other like box. But man, it's okay to cry. That's what's wrong with a lot of these guys. They constipated with the cool, so they like gotta hold it all in. And,
the word constipated threw me off. Constipated with the cool. That was
they holding it all in. Like it's okay to cry. Jesus
it is.
Cried.
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. He's weeping right now for that girl.
Yeah, he's weeping right now. That hurt Jesus when she said that.
It hurt me.
He said, I'll slap you about my Jesus. What you mean?
I love how black people do not play about Jesus.
Do not play.
They play about Jesus and you like,
try Jesus,
like
not me.
Like everybody's sharing, everything about the universe and all that. And I'm like,
it's the Lord.
It's the Lord.
The Lord.
The Lord for me.
With a T. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm running this.
I
done forgot I was running the podcast. We are definitely just here. All right, so go ahead, Kaye. Introduce the people to you, not just the basics. Talk. Who is Kaye?
Well, I am a Little Rock native, but I was originally born in Philly. And so I've been here. My parents immigrated to this country from the UK. They're both from England. My dad, what brought us to Arkansas was that my dad was in multiple myeloma cancer research. So I just come from a background of like, parents who were just really like all about giving back. My mom worked with juvenile sex offenders. She worked with children who had been sexually offended. And my brother taught theater. So that's kind of where I got a lot of my like outspokenness from and just feeling like, he taught me how to command a room, how to speak clearly, how to sit up, how to pronunciate. I didn't really have a desire to want to get into theater, but I always tell salespeople, like, if you really want to take your career to the next level, like, try, like, improv and try some of the things, like, obviously, like what you guys do here on the podcast. It takes some ability to learn what to say, how to say it. And so oftentimes we don't realize that one of the greatest things about being a Black entrepreneur is that we kind of just have this creativity inside of us that is just, given to us. It's why the art in schools is so important, because while someone might not necessarily grow up to become an artist, a theater major, an actor, whatever, it's that confidence that we feel in ourselves by being able to express ourselves. And that's why I love about, my people and about fostering that in children is that you never know what it's going to take on in another form. And so for me, I was able to use that in different type of public speaking realms, doing stuff like this, but also the best sales agents and the best realtors in this industry are the ones that practice what to say, and they know what to say, and they're always studying their craft. They know what's going on in the market. If somebody were to walk in today and say, I've got a house I need to sell, I'm ready. It's a joke, and I say it candidly, but I stay ready. And part of that comes from practicing scripts. And so that's kind of what has been such a joy for me in my 30s was I always had random sales jobs, but finding real estate was what helped me kind of bring all of my talents into one particular thing. So as you're working with your kids and, you're seeing that they have these different assets, whether it's graphic design or photography or social media, really flourish, allow them to flourish into that, because for me, we get so put into these different boxes and of what we want to do. Like my parents wanted me to go to law school because they knew that I could argue pretty much anything with anyone, and so that
it's
was
giving.
I struggled with test taking. I could explain so much, and that's what law school is all about. It's like test taking and memorization, and so I felt like a failure for so much of those early 20 years because I just really didn't know what I wanted to do, and everything that I was told that I needed to do came with a 4-year degree. So I felt like I wasn't going to get into making money until 4 years from now. What am I going to do? So then I just started getting these random jobs. Well, everybody's always hiring a salesperson. Every career, every place that you need is always going to have a salesperson. And so through that, I was able to realize that, this is something that I have that I would be really good at. And I got into the career where only 13% of real estate agents make it. And these are the numbers that we had prior to all the major commission changes. So, if you know a real estate agent that's doing well on any level, understand that they beat out 80% of the people who get their real estate license. Of the people that get their real estate license, I think the numbers in Arkansas are that maybe 40 or 50% of them don't sell a single house their first year. So being able to believe in your dreams on any type of level is really impactful in this career field. So as I was chasing, I'm extremely competitive. And as I was chasing all of these accolades and all of these goals that I had for myself, I really got the opportunity to slow down and say, okay, you know how to sell real estate. You're having a good time at this, but why does God keep putting it on your heart to help other agents? Because for me, being a single mom, it's not about what you drive. It's not, for me personally, it's not about what I drive. It's not about where I live. It's not about what purses I have. It's about the flexibility of my schedule. That's what keeps me going, is the fact that I can make it to my daughter's volleyball games. I can take a personal day for a mental health day if I need to. Now, I'm going to work Saturdays and Sundays are actually my busier days. Then, it's not a traditional 9 to 5, but I can build my schedule around her. And that is the blessing for me. Other people have different things that motivate them. Maybe it is a car, maybe it is a purse, maybe it is something that matters to you. But for me, the ability to have a flexible schedule is what makes me keep doing this crazy thing. Because it's you got to be crazy to sell real estate, because it is very, very tough. But at the same time, it's really fueled me. And so now that I'm walking into year 5, my goals have changed so much, because it's okay, I know what I need to be happy. I know what I need to be successful. Now, how do I bring up some of these other women around me so that they can meet their goals too? And that's where I've found a lot of fulfillment here lately. So
that's dope. So I take out that you're a mom.
I am a mom.
You come from a family with a very diverse background.
Yes, I do.
Who has really instilled in some great things in you that you've been able to apply all across your life. Did you go to law school?
No, it's so funny. Well, I'm gonna wait. I was gonna say it here, but I'm gonna wait. That'll be our next episode. But no. I mean, I was doing my undergrad at Fayetteville, and I was just a 20-year-old that didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
My first major was fashion, so I mean, I was all over the place. And then I started getting into business, and I just really didn't have a passion for it. Now that I'm older, and I'm seeing that in 6 or 7 years, my daughter's going to be out of the house, I am considering relooking into that. So,
okay.
Yeah. So,
all right,
maybe I'll be making an announcement here soon, but yeah.
Okay. right then. So you didn't go to law school. What was the degree then? Did you finish it? Did you get a degree?
I'm like a super senior because now technically I have switched over to Euler has an amazing program. If anybody's interested in it, to me they have not marketed this well. But Euler is one of the few schools outside of Alabama, and there's actually a couple in Louisiana in the tri-state area that have a actual business degree with an emphasis in real estate. And the reason why that merges really well for my future plans and with law is that there are not a lot of real estate attorneys, and real estate attorneys are extremely important. It's not as sexy as family law and divorce and all of those things, and sports law and personal injury. It's not, there's not that the money behind a lot of that. But as I've been in this industry as an agent, what I've realized is that the general public does not have a lot of protection when it comes to our contracts. The real estate contracts are templates. I tell people it's like a glorified Mad Libs. So I don't take away from what we do, but the threshold for real estate agents is very low. It's a 2.5-week class, about $400. I told you, we were talking about it a couple weekends ago, and $1,000 later, you can become a 6-figure agent. So for me, it's really understanding that the impact that these contracts that we're writing and that we're reading and that we're, trying, some people are trying to explain to our clients are life-changing decisions. And for me, I just think that there needs to be someone here in Arkansas that is available to the general public whenever things like that get a little hairy. And I've done 70 transactions, almost $13 million in sales here. And I feel like, thank you.
Yeah, we're not going to just zoom.
I feel like the joke amongst my colleagues is that I will get a random call from some agent at a different brokerage. And part of me is like, okay, well, why aren't you calling your broker? But it's because the ongoing joke amongst my colleagues is like, if something crazy has happened, I've seen it. Like I just have seen some of the most insane transactions and had to deal with them. Thankfully, I do have some great friends who are attorneys that I've been able to work with. I've had clients who are attorneys and have been able to build those relationships. I've had other realtors who have actually hired me to sell their properties just because they know, maybe they have a full-time job or they're not really in it as much as they used to be. So they call me, and I take so much pride in being somebody that people can love and trust. And I think that taking that next step will definitely, just add to my resume. And we ain't got nothing but time, so
sure they don't.
might as well.
Gonna get old either way up.
My loans were forgiven, so I was like,
let's talk about that. Because folks got on the presidential debate and said everybody still got them loans, and everybody don't still got them.
Kayla got mad at me. She's like, stop telling people that we have a mutual friend, Kayla Daniels. My sister. And I was like, well, and then literally 3 days later, I got a letter in the mail that my loans had been forgiven.
Yeah. So the people loans were forgiven.
Shout out.
Use this as
a Biden them.
Yeah. Shout out to them boys. They did the best they can with what they had.
Yeah. Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Let's go back to the contracts, because you're talking about the contracts, but we don't know, man. We ain't got no house.
Right.
Renting. I don't own. We gonna get there. We ain't got it yet. All right, but talk about the contracts. What do you mean? They're like general contracts, they're templates. What do you think is missing as far as protection for the general public? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the contracts, don't get me wrong, the real estate contracts are written by the Arkansas attorneys. I mean, they are, in a way, I mean, some states don't have a templated contract. Some states allow the brokerages to write up their own contracts. And I was with Keller Williams for 3.5 years, and I'm at RE/MAX. One of the reasons why I came to RE/MAX is because my broker owner, Keith Pike, was a lawyer before all of this. So he really understands law. He understands. I felt like I was in the best place to kind of learn the next steps and all of that. And he's just somebody that I really just trust. He's an amazing person. And so he has some specific contracts that he has written that kind of protect our clients to a totally different level. But for the most part, most of the contracts that you're going to sign in a transaction are anywhere from 5 to 15 pages, and they're templated, meaning that as an agent and being someone who has done this before, I might be driving, down the road, and my clients are going to call me and say, I got to have this house. I want to make an offer. So when you hear the word offer, a lot of times people think of us as agents calling each other, we just say, hey, my clients want to offer $450. That's not what an offer is. An offer is a written contract, is a residential contract that tells what the terms are, when we're going to potentially close, how much we're going to pay, what the loan type is, if we will be asking for an inspection, who does the house come with a survey. So a survey is going to be literally
land survey.
A land survey. And so oftentimes surveys don't really matter if you're buying in a subdivision, but if you're buying 5 acres, you might want to
know exactly where your lines are.
Yeah. 10 years ago, the person that owned it gave 2 acres to his sister, and they just never recorded it or, didn't know about it. And so that's why it's important to have a surveyor come out to make sure that you're protecting the actual land that we're buying. Here in Arkansas, obviously, with what I do, that's very important because I do have clients that buy homes on acre plus lots. So those are the things that the contracts have in there. And a lot of the verbiage for protection, again, is templated, is written out. Things like, does the TV stay? What are you wanting to ask for the refrigerator, the washer and dryer, things like that. It can be kind of a gray area. And so they teach us, the first thing that you learn when you become a real estate agent, because you don't learn it in real estate school, is how to write a contract, how to read a contract, what do you put in there, things like that. And so it really just depends on how good your teacher is. How often do you write a contract? I mean, on a busy season for me, I might write 5 or 10 contracts, in a week or something like that. So just knowing how to read a contract is so important, because a small thing, like let's say you say that you want the washer and dryer or you want the refrigerator, and I forget to leave that out. 9 times out of 10, I tell my clients all the time, I know y'all not reading this. Slow down, go through it, make sure that you're reading. So let's say I leave that out. You show up to the closing, and now you got to buy a $2,000 washer and dryer set that you weren't anticipating because I, the real estate agent, forgot to put that in. That's what I mean when I say protecting the general public and making sure that there's a standard for this industry that, just covers how important this purchase is.
Right.
You get an agent that might have 3 or 4 jobs, 5 or 6 kids at the house, whatever.
They just trying to sell it.
Just trying to sell it. And so it's like learning, like, okay, even on a $50,000 house or even on a $15,000 lot, I'm gonna give the same service that I give when I sell a $700,000 house. Like that is just understanding that once you get to a certain level, and I think all of the top agents will tell you, like, you just have a standard. It's like Michael Jordan. You don't get to be that consistent at that time for that long of a time frame. Well, I know you think it's LeBron, but it's just
let's not get started now.
it's just muscle memory. I mean, it's really honestly taking more like a Steph Curry person, because you know how much he actually puts into that.
It for that consistency to be at that high level. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so for me, like I take this job very seriously, because I always think about that other, I mean, it sounds sad, but I think about that other 80% that might not sell a single house this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not ever one of those. God has put me in a certain position to be able to, produce at the level that I have. So I just want to say that I did my part. I want to say that I showed up and I was accountable for my piece in that.
Amen. So do you like TV? You like television? You watch TV?
I don't. I'm like I'm big in sports. So obviously there's that. Like that's the only real like live TV that I care about.
You don't got no shows?
You don't got no favorite shows?
Well, I just finished Gangs of London.
Okay, I hadn't seen that, but okay.
You have to watch it. Are you into gory stuff?
I can watch it.
Not me.
See, and I'm not either. And for me as a mom, this goes to show like how much of a mom I am. But like, it's one of those shows that was really hard for me to get through because I have to wait for G to be asleep. And the time from her being asleep and like me like wiping down the surfaces of the kitchen and like putting stuff in the dishwasher, I got about 30 minutes before I'm falling. I'm right behind her, if not beating her sometimes. So that was the hard part, was that I would wake up and then be like, I'd be on the couch and be like
struggling.
Like,
it's watching you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it was really good. Emily in Paris kind of snuck up on me. So if you would have asked me this 30 days, like I'm on a social media fast. We talked about this too, but I have not been on social media for almost 45 days. And so typically I would be like, no, I don't watch television because I just don't have time. Like I'm just doing other things. But now that I have a lot more time, I've been kind of picking up a couple shows. But you said that, like, so what are your shows?
Power's so damn
Bel-Air.
trash. Ghost
I
season,
stopped-
whatever, trash.
Yeah, this new. I ain't even watch it Friday. I ain't watched it.
Trash.
Yeah, see, those shows like that.
Bel-Air.
I don't know.
No, I watch these shows now.
Yeah,
But
I
that Ghost,
I was
it's
a Grey's
trash.
fan.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I watched it front to back.
I was the HBO. Like I'm a little bit more like I'm from Philly. Like I got a little.
Sisters.
No, I'm like I got a little hood in me. So I'm Sopranos, The Wire.
I knew you was gonna say The Wire when you
We
said
Own
that.
the City. Have you ever seen We Own the City?
I haven't seen that.
So We Own the City is a Baltimore
But
spinoff.
Emily in Paris not.
I know. That's what's so
That's girly.
crazy. It's really not. I feel like they have done a terrible job marketing that show. Emily is a boss ass bitch. Emily is
Boss ass bitch.
Emily
bitch.
is yes, yeah. Like Emily, like when I first watched the show, I was like, okay, cool, but like it's a lot about. I was going through a breakup or whatever, and so Emily is all like, you see her and you like, girl, you with these like sorry ass dudes, and every time you like get single, like your career flourishes, your life flourishes, like. That's the only part of Emily in Paris that you'll hate is just to be like, oh, here she go chasing after this like. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, girl. Like, we got money to make.
Why you asked it?
So I asked that, my bad, because I was getting into
We done
television. I asked that because I watched this TV show called Them. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's about a family who relocated from like North Carolina or something like that, back in like the 80s or 70s or something like that. But they relocated and they moved to Compton. They moved in Compton into an all-white neighborhood. Compton used to be all-white. All-white neighborhood. When they got there, the show is about the people in the community terrorizing them.
Yes.
And making them try to force them to move them out.
Yeah.
And then when lots of people started, because those are affordable homes. They were like $40,000, $50,000 back in the day, right? So people, instead of like forcing these families out, they just start moving back into the city. So I brought that up because of redlining.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you deal with, like, because that's generational, right? We don't have the money, we don't have the, I guess, education to know how to buy homes. Talk a little bit about that, like the history of real estate and how that affects when you sell homes and the areas. And
There is and one of the other reasons why I don't watch a lot of TV is because I love to read. I'm an avid reader. Okay. There is a book that I suggest to anybody who's interested in this topic, and it's called The Color of Law. And it's
I got it on my phone.
It's
Dead
I usually
serious.
gift it to people. I was on Osiris's podcast, and I ended up sending it to him afterwards because we brought it up. So now I guess I got to bring it to y'all too. But it is really, really good. I will say this: if a real estate agent tells you anything,
So
it's
you know
very
I ain't
good.
capping.
It's very good.
I
It's
got it
very
on my
good.
phone. I hadn't finished reading it yet. I just started it.
Just like all industries, I'm sure you guys have this too, where it's like Black educators, Black coaches, things like that. We have a lot of like groups, especially like Keller Williams has a group that was like so big for me when I was in my career, which was Black realtors. And here locally we have the Realist, and most of us are really passionate. A big part of our passion for this field is redlining, what it has done. So redlining is actually
Go ahead and tell the people who don't know what redlining is. My bad.
and so there's two different things. What you're actually talking about is steering and blockbustering. So redlining is really dealing with
The loans.
banks and the loans and how they historically will put Black people into, prevent them from, getting approvals for predominantly white areas that the banks wanted to keep predominantly white for whatever reason. Now, blockbuster and steering is when agents or realtors or, neighborhood people living in those neighborhoods prevent or try to suppress Black people from entering those neighborhoods. So.
And then from my understanding too, like especially with that particular movie, is they put them in those neighborhoods, force all of the other people out. I don't know if this default on their loan or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but then they able to make more money off the house by putting Black families in it and give them higher interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of scared that the government is going to come for me after this, but
Hey,
if this
I wrote a
was-
paper about it before. And it's really interesting to me the things that the government has done to prevent, African Americans or minorities in general, in order for them to get the same access to different resources. So I like to discuss things like this because people don't know the history.
Right. I just, they're probably going to take me out. But what I was very concerned about were all of my clients and people that I knew personally who were taking the COVID forbearance. So what COVID forbearance and any forbearance does is it pauses your mortgage loan.
Right.
COVID forbearance was set in place for people who had not worked. And in the bank's defense, I love my people, but we don't always like to read and go do a lot of, in-depth research about certain things. And so COVID forbearance was there for people who were affected from an income standpoint. So a lot of people were like, I ain't got to make my mortgage payment.
I just ain't going to pay it.
Cool. Because
they was already getting that extra money too.
And that's the problem. Is they were getting extra money. And they were getting extra money, and they were not keeping up with their caseworkers that the mortgage companies were giving them. And they were putting themselves in situations where they obviously had reportable extra income. Some of these people were making more money, and you know how it happens. Everything is not for Facebook. You don't have to post that you're going in. You're on Jamaica.
Because they're gonna use that as evidence against you when they sue you.
So I was very concerned about that because, again, you've got salespeople who are on the phone that have a certain quota that they're probably trying to make, and this is just all speculations that are saying, okay, you got all these houses, because historically banks don't want to foreclose on properties. And the reason being is because they got to go through the process, and there's like a 90-day wait period, and they got to give you an opportunity to catch back up. Like, even if your car is repossessed tomorrow, or if you go into foreclosure, that company has to give you a certain amount of time to come up with the entire $200,000-$300,000 that you owe, whatever. And a lot of people don't know that. So banks don't usually want to go through that because, if they feel like they can kind of get you back on track, historically they would. However, you got to understand what happened during COVID. What happened during COVID is there was a 30 to 40% rise in property values. So let's say we're talking about, just for instance, a Roscommon neighborhood where maybe the client paid $150 for their property 4 years ago. So the banks have been receiving these funds from them for the last 4 years. So their payoff may be somewhere around $120, $130. They've knocked off $20,000, $30,000 in these last 4 years. Well, now you're in a situation where, because of COVID and the prices just going up and up and up, if I'm a bank, I already got the last 4 years of mortgage from you. You put your down payment down, which even if you went FHA is going to be 3 to 5%.
Right.
And guess what? This house that you're in, I can now sell it for $190, $175. So I don't care about sitting on it for 90 days and missing 90 days of mortgage payments that your ass ain't paying anyway.
Right.
So this was one of the first times that banks really stood a huge profit. And then you got to realize what was happening during COVID was I was getting 10 to 15 offers on every house that I was listing.
So people really was buying.
Oh, it was
crazy.
It was like,
why do you think it went up so fast? Why? What was the?
Because the interest rates.
What?
Well,
people supposedly ain't working.
No. Property value. That is the one great thing that happened from COVID is that Black ownership was the gap was closed significantly, and a lot of brown people purchased homes during COVID. And the reason being was a couple things. I feel like a lot of people got together. Because you all the way over there and I'm all the way over here. We got these two apartments that we living together. Like, let's get together. You know what I mean? I think everybody had a COVID boo except for me. I just had a COVID baby that kept getting me sick. No, not a COVID baby.
I was about to say, damn. Wait a minute.
No.
Where that one at?
I'm talking about I was with my baby.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, everybody else was booed up. Hold on. I was doing science experiments and watching
Rugrats.
Nah, I wish she would watch Rugrats. I was watching Sister. G has watched Sister like 97 bazillion times.
Me too.
Turn on any episode and I'd be like, well, this is the episode where Lisa gets her shop. I mean, but so a lot of people were getting together. You had everybody getting all these stimmies, which thankfully some people use to pay off debts and put down payments on houses. And then the interest rates were 3 and 5%. You know, 3 to 5%. Now the interest rates are, you know, back up into the 6s and 7s, which is still, you know, relatively low. My dad always tells people that when he bought a house, it was like 19%. But the house that he bought, you know, was like $200,000 in Denver, and now it's like worth like $1 million. So it's just like, you know, everything has kind of changed. It all kind of comes out in the wash. So like the mortgage payment is probably very similar. But yeah, I mean, it was a great time to purchase a home.
So why should people buy a house for those people who? I was talking to a homeboy a couple of days ago, and he was like, he had a great credit score. He's been living in an apartment. He has a kid. He's perfectly capable of buying a house. I'm like, bro, you got great credit and stuff. Why don't you just go buy a house? You never know, your home may be a lower payment than what you're paying in rent. Like, why won't you just go get a home? So why should people buy a house?
Your homeboy, for instance, this friend that we're talking about in particular, exactly. You got to ask. Everybody has different motivations. If you're the type of person that wants to live in Brody Creek and you're used to brand new and you want it to be nice and you don't want to have to deal with stuff, you know, in order to get a house of that caliber, you're going to be in a totally different bracket than just like a first time home buyer.
Right.
Now, if you're somebody that, like, a lot of my clients will come to me and they'll be like, I just want a yard and a garage. And if the floors are carpet, that's cool. I got an uncle that'll come and lay down, you know, luxury vinyl planking for me. I'm going to paint everything anyway. Their expectations and what they want are low, and they don't really mind. And so those people, yes, a mortgage payment might be very similar to what they're paying in rent. There's so many reasons why. A lot of my friends who are in the military never really think about setting down roots here in Arkansas because they just, you know, don't know when they're going to be.
Right.
Some of them are using military housing. So they're like, I'm just going to stay on base. I'm going to kick it. And I'm like, man, you got this. VA loan, no money down, like buy something and then turn it into a rental later on. So I personally feel like I can give anybody a reason to
buy a
buy
house.
in some way.
Yeah.
Even if it's just you buying a lot and turning it into a neighborhood garden. Like, there's always a reason to purchase real estate. I think what happens in our culture, and especially in that mid to late 20s all the way up to the early 30s, is where the things that are easy to get are the things that affect our ability to purchase homes.
Car.
So credit card debt.
The man finna go buy a car instead of buying a home.
And you know what? Those are the problems that we have. The best time to buy a house, this is for everybody that's listening, the best time to buy a house is when your credit card debt is as low as you can possibly get it and you have a vehicle that's either paid off or you don't owe a lot on it. If you're in a situation where you know, man, baby only got probably about 50 more miles on it, she probably only gonna give me about another year, that's when you need to be getting your stuff. Well, at least talk to a mortgage loan officer. And you and I talked about this. I am a real estate agent. My job is to protect you with your contracts. My job is to be a liaison between the home inspectors, the title people. I'm like the Olivia Pope piece into your home buying
I like
purchase.
the way you said that.
Is I'm here to build a shield around you while you're at work dealing with these kids and the fire is going on.
Yeah.
My job is to smooth out all of the wrinkles so that way when we talk in the evening, half of the problems that could have been problems are already figured out. Or at least I know how to give you your options so that we can figure out how to move forward. It is the mortgage loan officer that you have to build and establish a relationship with. And for me, being in this industry for 4.5 years, is so important to understand that their business changes so much. It's not my job to tell you First Security has a teachers program,
right,
or, you know, Regions has a teachers program or whatever. Those are the people that you need to be reaching out to, and those are people that you need to be talking to. And it is my job, of course, to get you in front of the right ones. But at the same time, it's like that aspect of their business is changing so much that you have to rely on the mortgage loan officers. And so many people feel like, I'm not going to talk to a mortgage loan officer because my score is a 590 and I know I got to be a 620 or whatever. My score is a 480. But a lot of people don't know, like, you know, actually really a 590 can buy you a home. But I've seen people who are at 590 who have no debt in our perfect, in a perfect situation to purchase a home, and I've seen people who are at 700s and have a ton of debt and they can't get approved.
Right.
So it's really just about sitting down and talking to them. As a realtor, I don't take any credit information. I don't look at your bureaus. I don't know what your score is. All of that is strictly with the banks. And so if you're thinking about buying a home in the next 12 to 24 months, or even in the next 5 years, your first step is going to be to get in front of a loan officer and let them tell you, hey, we got to pay off this, we got to pay off that. I don't know what you was doing with this. Let's get rid of that.
See, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, it's so and you know,
bringing her here so she can tell all of us.
Yeah, talk to a loan officer. Talk to a loan officer. Get because like you said, the things that affect us the most in the home buying purchase, home buying process, are the things that are so easy. I can go to Euler today and be like, I want to go to law school. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they're like, here you go. Fill out this paperwork. You $15,000. You're approved.
Right.
Move on. And like, okay, but dang, how did this affect me in a situation of like my home buying purchase?
So
situation.
put a pin in that, because this is what I want to talk about. You said you need to try to get in that home buying process to go ahead and buy your home before you get a big purchase like a car. People also have student loans, which is a big. We've purchased that education with a student loan.
Oh yeah.
Talk about the student loans effects on your ability to get a home now.
Thankfully, it has changed a lot. And that's why it's so important for me as a realtor to be able to work with certain lenders who have kind of figured that piece out. It really just depends if you're still actively in school, if your loans are in deferment. And it's, again, I could tell you your student loan affects, 10% of the debt to income ratio, something like that. And by the time this podcast comes out, it might have been changed. So I know that in the last couple of years that there are so many banks that have programs that will either not look at your loans at all, depending on where you are in your education process, or look at them in a very easy way. And that's what I love about working with Bahani. Bahani is one of my favorite lenders. We're going to drop his information because he is that guy. He's to me, he won't like me to call him the Olivia Pope, because obviously Olivia Pope is a woman, but he has this very creative way of thinking of your family. How do I put you and your wife in this perfect situation to buy it? And he'll call me and he'll be like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And, I moved this around and we opened up a couple extra, now they went from a 250 to a 350 pre-approval. I think they want to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. Because what he does is just so unique. And, and there are tons of great loan officers. But again, it was building that relationship. He actually saved a lot of deals for me, because we talk about redlining, right? To me, it's not so much redlining is about location. What I have dealt with a lot are just things coming up in underwriting for my clients particularly. And again, 75% of my clients are Black. So I can't say what it's like. But at the same time, I'm just always when some of the things come up, I'm always curious,
Yeah. Is that
because
really?
I'm dealing with the Deshaun Jacksons and the the Brianna Williams and just obviously I deal with applicants of color. And so again, I feel like
it's a question you're saying in the back of your mind every time, which is natural for us, because we just talked about redlining. We didn't talk about. I did not know that was called Blockbuster
and steering.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know those two terms, but I knew about the banks with the redlining. But that's crazy that we even have terms for this type of stuff that we know, because it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. What is it? I've been seeing things on social media saying that the government is about to get rid of that requirement for when people rent the 3 times the income for renting. Is that true? Have you heard that?
I mean, the government can do what they want, but people who own private property can, it's really I read about it and I saw that, and it's a rough, guesstimate. But here's the thing. This is an unfortunate part about renting, is that if I'm a landlord, I can get both of y'all's application at the same time. if she's making $50,000 a year and you're making $30,000 a year and you all meet the same requirements, I mean, obviously the landlord is going to go with option A.
Right.
So as exciting as it sounds, I've just seen so many situations where my clients are like, I put an application. I don't really deal with a lot of rentals, but I do take a lot of time to help people who have Section 8 vouchers. It's something I'm very passionate about. We don't get paid for it. I don't get paid for it. But a lot of people will get approved through Section 8 vouchers through housing, and they can never find properties that are Section 8 approved. And so what I've learned and like seeing the leases and seeing how some of those people are treated and how to get them into the homes is landlords are going to do what they want to do. I know you wanted a better, like, sexier answer, but at the same time, it's like,
I want to keep it a buck.
Yeah, if the government decides that they're going to take now in a rental situation, in like a property management situation, but a lot of people, if you ever talk to property managers, because like I've been in situations where I'm like, now how did that girl get approved for the apartment? You know what I mean? Like, it's just somebody sitting at a computer that's deciding if they want to take a risk or you or not. Now, of course, they're going to have to send it up to their, like, you know, corporate or whatever, but you think that there aren't people that are like, you know, helping people or sliding people in or whatever the case may be, or
Somebody
saying
always
no.
gonna get the good workup.
Yeah, or saying no to people who are great candidates, and just because they don't like the way that they look or they don't like their name.
Right.
You might be okay because you're Aaron Campbell. Me and Consuelo, we.
No, I ain't gonna be all right. I come in with them dreads.
They gonna Google and be like,
nope. With that being said, I'm asking you all these questions because I really, there's been a lot of different processes that I've been seeing, and I really question them, and I think you got some of the answers.
Yeah.
Have are you familiar with like city ordinances and stuff like when people buy homes?
Absolutely.
Man, my homeboy bought he like kind of flips homes and he sells them or he rents them out and stuff like that. He's doing that thing. When you go buy homes that, you know, somebody may have not lived in for a long time, $20,000-$30,000 house, you want to renovate it and start renting it out. When people buy the home, they literally get put on a clock by the city. Have you heard of this? That's crazy. You get put on the clock by the city, and they immediately, before you even finish buying the home good, they start sending you things. The house needs to it needs to be like this. It needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. When the house been sitting here 10 years and they ain't never looked like nothing, and they start rushing them and putting them on the time, and then you have to go through the court processes where they have to put it on, what is it called? Where they have to put it out there to make sure nobody has a claim to the home and stuff like that. Why is that even legal for them to be able to do that? Then they go and knock the house down and charge you for it when they knock the house down if you haven't completed all this thing in due time.
Yep. So it's the process from coming up from condemnation. I can't ever say the word from it, but it's like when the city condemns a property. There are a lot of speculations that the city of Little Rock is going out condemning properties because they want to take those properties back and make them either sell them to HUD, sell them to fair housing, turn them into like just drive around the hood for a little bit.
Right.
That's all you got to do is drive around the Central High area, drive around John Barrow, and you will see areas where there's a lot of neighborhoods that the houses are older, and then boom, you'll see a brand new house, and it's Section 8 housing. 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely about to.
Just say as much as you feel comfortable saying.
Change my I am a Black real estate agent. I'm a Black woman. I represent Black people. I am also like, if you just get into this business to become a real estate agent and sell things and be cute, then you know that's your right to do that. But for me, I believe that God has put me here on a totally different level. So what you're talking about is basically the process in which houses have to be brought up to code. So these letters that you're getting are the code ordinances. My suggestion, and I have been saying this for the last 4 years, we need more Black contractors. We need more Black contractors. We need more Black electricians. We need more Black plumbers. We need more Black people who are doing what your friend is doing. If I were your friend, what I would do is go down McCain, East McCain. You're going to head towards the bottom of East McCain where the post office is. On the left is the Arkansas Board of Contractors. The contractor's exam, the general contractor's exam, is an open book test. It has nothing to do with screws, nails, and hammers. It has everything to do with exactly what you're talking about, which is the business of contracting. In order to do a project that you don't own personally, that is over $5,000, you need a general contractor's license. The general contractor's book is a guide on how to pull permits, how to get with the city, what different things you need to do, how you code it. I actually studied for it myself just because what it would help in my capacity of what I do is oftentimes when I'm selling a property or my friends who are other agents are selling a property, we have the inspection done and we'll get this 70-page inspection that has all of these things that need to be done on it. It is the hardest thing in the world to find a contractor to put prices on that because these are guys like we're creatives. These are guys that are handyman. They're carpenters. They're out on roofs all day long. They don't want to sit at a computer.
Yeah.
Like I have to pull up on them and be like, "Hey man, like this is a Google Sheets." Like I actually have created a lot of because I'm just happen to be really good with stuff like that. There's several contractors out here. Y'all owe me some money that I have built.
Pay her.
that I have built their invoices for them, and it's got their logo on it, and they can just go in there and they can sign it on their iPad. But these are guys that are walking around just like they work out in the elements. They don't want to have to do that office stuff. But you've got the good contractors that are really good at building houses, and then you've got the ones that are really good at the business standpoint from it. If I were your friend, that's what I would do. I would turn this into a career because as he's doing it for himself, he's finding, oh, okay, dang, now I got black mold. I got to figure out how to, how to fix this. Oh, okay. I want to, I don't really like the way the kitchen sink is over here. Let me move it over a couple, and the next thing you know, someone's grandma needs a kitchen remodel and he's got his general contractor's license and boom, there it is. And so again, it's a really easy thing to do, but the general contractor, even if he doesn't decide to go that route and pass the test and all that, which you should definitely encourage him to do, the book that I'm talking about is literally just everything that you need to know to run the business of being a contractor, and part of that is the time frames that you have to have
and
to
understanding the ordinances and all that other stuff and where to go and what to do
and how to pull permits and how to go down to City Hall. I mean, you talk to these contractors and they'll be so mad because I gotta go to City Hall, I gotta do this, I gotta go downtown, I gotta do this, I gotta do that,
all the paperwork, foot errand stuff.
Yep, and all of that. And so there's that aspect of it, and it's unfortunate because there's so much money out there to be had. There's so many opportunities out there to be had. We're not teaching our kids the importance of going to journeyman school, becoming an electrician, becoming a plumber.
Facts.
How much money there is.
We pushing all our kids to education and to play sports and to go to college and this. But there's so many other paths and for people to go technical, vocational, all kinds of stuff.
Here's the thing: electrician, a journeyman,
6 figures
out the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out the gate. And it's one of those beautiful things that like these kids that are leaving high school that don't know what they want to do, we're sending them to Philander, we're sending them to Euler, we're sending them to UAPB, we're telling them to like, just go have fun, just go take some classes.
Take a year, you'll figure it out.
And that's what happened to me.
Then they be in debt.
Still they ain't got it figured out.
And don't have it figured out. And also, you're around the pressure of other people who do have it figured out. You're in environments that you don't feel comfortable in. For me, like I just really wasn't. I wasn't a party girl or anything like that. So I felt very isolated because
you wasn't a party girl.
No, I have been out in Little Rock like 10 times in my entire life.
For real?
Like, and it was always a birthday. Like I've been to Twa once. No. I've been to Twa twice, and I have like literally like Netflix movie stories about my Twa experience.
That is hilarious.
I got boxed in.
I would have pinned you to be the life of the party.
I am the life of the party. We got to do it at my house. No. You know what I mean? Like you got to bring, your bottle. We're going to have a great time. If y'all want to fall asleep, I'm gonna bring out blankets. I'm gonna bring an extra bonnet.
You just ain't gonna be outside.
No, I've had weird situations. Like my first week in Fayetteville, school hadn't even started yet, and I was at a Kappa party, and they maced us. Like they literally like, and so I spent my first week of school
with puffy eyes.
No. I had asthma and I coughed so much that I was vomiting blood. And so, like, yeah, like I
That's
I
crazy
don't
work.
really know why my dad didn't press charges because I could have been rich, but I mean that was like police in Fayetteville just
Yeah.
and they just maced the entire
Oh my
place,
goodness.
and it was like a closed like thing. And so from there, I literally didn't go out again. I mean, we probably went to like a couple like house parties or things like that, but you know, I was in favor, and they were telling us like cover up your drinks and like all that type of stuff. So it was just, you know, and then I mean, I became a mom at 24, so
Yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty. What is it like being a single mom and dating?
oh god.
Because we ain't got much time. We might need a part 2 of an episode.
I know. I
But-
feel like, you know, or maybe y'all could just make me a returning guest, and I could just be like number 3.
Yeah, let's do what we can right now.
Okay. For me, dating, you know, I just got out of a really like life-changing ending to a relationship for me, because I've always and everybody has to do what's right for them. For me, I've always had kind of like a 6-month rule when it comes to meeting my child. And this was the first time that I've broken that in like 5 or 6 years. And it ended up being, you know, ultimately a mistake because we're not together, obviously, and it was really bad and, you know, not a great breakup. But, you know, for her, it's like always trying to protect that innocence that she has of just like, as kids, like we want to see mother figures in the opposite sex. We want to see father figures in the opposite sex. And unfortunately, you know, kind of like tied into social media and tied into just where we are in this weird world, a lot of people are not who they say they are. And I think for me, it's just, you know, what I've learned through dating is it really takes an extended amount of time. Sometimes people will change temporarily because they'll fall in love with you, or they'll fall in love. You know, you don't have to worry about it. You don't count, but you know, they'll fall in love. They'll fall because we know you chicked your wife, but they'll fall in love with you because everybody's gonna be on their best behavior for a certain amount of time. And then, and some people really just don't have it in them, and they want to because you're so fine and you're so beautiful, and you cook and you know you do all the things that I want to do, and you give me all the things that I want to give. And so there's a part of them that really does want to change, but it's not who they are inherently. I mean, for me as a person, who I am is somebody that is loyal to a T. It's not hard for me to be in a monogamous relationship. I can be in a monogamous relationship, and I really don't like people anyway. Like, especially like I look at a man try to talk to me, I'm like, you probably got 8 kids behind the child support. Like I just people walking up to me, that doesn't do anything for me. I don't know if you have experienced this, but like when you find your whole life, it's like I don't care about DMs and Instagram messages and stuff like that. It's just
Okay, find your whole life.
I mean.
Talk your shit, friend. Talk your shit, friend.
I mean, it's just, you know, and some people weren't fine their whole life, maybe,
Right.
and so they go into this little phase. And
They
so
ain't got it, but they gonna get it.
Well, you know, or just like they starting to feel themselves. And sometimes, if you that bitch, you
just-
make them feel them like
You
that
just
self.
like that.
You just like that, and they're like, damn, if I can get her, maybe I can get somebody else. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm just like, I'm a simple person. I want, like, my bills are paid. I want to come home. I want to pour a glass of wine. You know, I like it doesn't take a lot to make me happy. I want to enjoy my life. I want like drama-free peace, and just the distractions of everyday life are not something that, you know, I like to hit the gym. Like,
Would you date somebody with kids?
I think next time I'm going to have to. And the only reason why I say that is because I think that only people who have children understand, like, if you could play with me just by
but not
myself.
my kid.
You play about my child, like, you're going to have to see me, because it's just like, you know, you just don't do that. You don't do that. Like, you come in someone's life and you ask them to be in a committed relationship, you hold up to that piece of the agreement. That's just an integrity thing. But, you know, people are easily distracted and all of that. But I think when you come into someone's child's life and you make a commitment to them, like, you know, that's a totally, like I tell Kayla all the time, like, just as my friend, me and you don't ever talk again ever in life, you still gonna have to see me about these children.
Absolutely.
So, I mean.
You can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of me because, you know, you just, you know, it's totally different. So I think that if I can leave on any note to all the young ladies out there who have gotten into a level of success before they get married, or they were married and got divorced and, you know, now they're single again and they're really in their stride and they're living their life, understand that who you date matters. Who you date is a reflection of you. And as much as I go into my relationship saying, like, I'm not just anybody, and I don't mean that in a sense of I'm better than anybody else. It means that God has a calling on my life. I have a mission that I'm here to create. And if you get in the way of that, baby, you got
to go immediately.
And you're not gonna have anybody out here laughing at me and joking about me and doing all that. You're not like a lot of men don't realize.
I don't like to be embarrassed. So when you said that, laughing and joke about me, that triggered something.
I mean, and you know, I think that that's the ego in us. But for me, it's on a deeper level, because for me, it's like, you know, there's so many pick-me's in the world that are like, oh, I'm texting her man and I'm doing this. I'm like, you're a side bitch, but okay.
Absolutely.
But but no, I mean, I just for me, it's just like, you know, when you have a different calling on your life, you have to act like it. You have to, you know, you have to move differently. You have to move differently in your friendships. You have to move differently in your relationships. You are not going to stress me. I mean, I was listening to some of the stuff that was going on in y'all's little friendships.
Not y'all's little.
I mean, I got well, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, the last friend breakup that I had was 2 years ago, and somebody, you know how you got the circles, like, okay, let's say me and you are really close. And then that's your friend, but that's not really my friend. But we see each other because of like birthday dinners or whatever.
Yeah.
Me and this person get into it. So you don't share my birthday picture. Like my birthday post of me saying happy birthday, you don't share it. And it could be because you was busy that day. It could be because whatever the case may be. But I assume that you didn't share it because you didn't want to make her mad.
Right.
And then the whole friendship
just falls off.
And
on some pettiness.
It took me a week to figure out what happened because they know me. Because they're like, I'm like, wait. We fighting about people not sharing people's posts? Is that what we do? So I was out just because of that. Like but it's just stuff like that. People usually don't, you know, because we got stuff to do, y'all. Come on now.
Be BFFR.
I'm the friend that's like, do you want to come to church with me this Sunday? These are the workout classes I'm doing this week. Are you meal prepping? Are you taking a liquid multivitamin? I just switched over and I'm having a great time with it. Maybe you should try it too. This is the new toner that I'm using. Things. You know, like G's volleyball schedule is here for everybody. If you guys want to come to any of the games, like real life things. We not out here fighting about likes and loves and
crazy work,
shares and all of that stuff.
We'll have a part 2. There'll be a part 2.
A part 2 and a 3 and a 4 because I am your new co-host.
Sean that came in here talking your shit, boy.
It's like Hangover with the best friends. I feel like that guy. Like, you know, the funny guy with the baby. What was his name?
I don't know.
You didn't watch Hangover?
I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I watched the movie.
And everybody else was cool, and he was like trying to like make it happen like so hard. He was trying to make the friendship thing happen so hard. Okay, cool.
We done had a good time. Last 2 things though. Number 1, ick. Give us an ick. Men.
People.
Period.
Men. Damn,
aliens.
People.
No, my running joke within all my friends, and I'm so proud of myself for this because they have started to take it into their friendship circles, and now you guys have to do it too. If I don't see aliens on one of y'all's podcasts, I'm gonna feel like I didn't do this right. But if people act weird, because you know they say that there are aliens here on the earth, I always be like, they probably are alien. And so like we have gotten into like Men in Black characters, and I'm Agent J, and you would be Agent C, you would be Agent E, and it's just like so funny. But like I really believe that a lot of these people that live here on this earth like just need to just like log out of social media and just get real with themselves in life, because we just worried about the wrong things. But men for sure.
Men.
Ick.
Ew.
Damn.
Ew. Okay. You got some rhythm.
Uh-oh.
You don't got no rhythm?
A little bit. It's like a Philly bop a little bit, you know.
Woo! Don't scare me like that now.
Their blood fighting.
It is oil and water. Oil and water, like oil and water for sure.
Okay, well, we just need a little 1-2, nothing major. You ain't got to twerk or nothing. I mean, unless you want to.
Oh no! I've already got the government following me thanks to you guys from this episode.
You're welcome.
So I definitely don't piss my parents off.
So Aaron always leave with a think piece at the end of each episode, something to carry the Yetis through the week. So before we do that, I just go 1, 2, 3, and we say weekly heat. Weekly heat. That's it. Yeah, so you got it. I knew you had it in you. Okay, here we go.
Weekly what?
Heat.
I'm not done. Get on the podcast. Don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, bro.
But I mean,
And don't be a co-host and don't even know how stuff goes. See there?
Because I thought we were gonna change it up because now we're a new season of us. The us.
Whatever, man.
It be your own
It should
people.
be weekly
Whatever.
B. Weekly B.
Whatever, bro. Come on, man.
Do it like a Philly swish, you know.
Absolutely not.
Ayy.
See, you fired already.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Weekly heat. Weekly heat. That's what I'm talking about. Drop in the comments. Let us know if she did all right.
Yeah, they love me.
What you got for us?
All right. I had a variety of them because we were supposed to cover so much in this time, but we need more time with you.
Sorry.
No, we just need more time with you because it's a lot for us to discuss with you. You are a person of a lot of variety that we can dive in with you, and I'm happy.
Cool. What's the heat?
No, get turned up when I say some shit like that. Oh my God.
I'm from Philly though. Like if you ever looking for like somebody that's just like multifaceted and super awesome, like try to find a Libra, and then immediately after that, go Birds.
Whatever, man. Weekly heat for this week. Once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere. Simple as that.
Period.
And that's in a lot of variety in your life. You gonna get on jobs. This don't fit me. This don't serve me. Regroup. You gonna have some friendships you done had many years. This don't fit me. This don't serve me. I'm gonna move around. Once you realize the power of who you are and you as an individual, you will be more conscious about the way you put yourself in different places.
Amen. Definitely this season of my life for sure.
Bingo.
And getting out of the wrong places will lead you to the right ones.
Amen.
That part. Well, thank y'all for pulling up on us. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see y'all.
I'd be damned if I don't get it from my children's children. And that's real.
Tell the truth, how I feel. Like I'm the only one that's real. Can't be the only one that feels like holding you real tight till midnight. Tell me how you miss free.